Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be taking you through 5 workflows that you can sell for up to 5k in 2026. Now, some of these workflows are more complicated than others, as you can see, but complexity doesn't mean you can sell automations for a crazy amount of money. Businesses don't care about that. All they care is how they can get to their end goal quicker. So some of these automations are going to be really simple, but they are going to get to the end goal very, very quickly, like I'll explain later. But yeah, let's jump straight into this. I'll take you through them one by one, show you how to get them set up for yourself. But yeah, you can download all of these templates from my free school community in the description below. Okay, so the first workflow is this unlimited content ideas newsletter or content report system. Now, I have shared this on the channel before, but we're going to go over it again. I'll explain how it works. I'll show you the output and all of that stuff. So essentially what this workflow does is it scrapes viral content in my niche or a business's niche and formats that into a weekly newsletter for me. Now, to some people, content creators, small businesses, even large businesses, this is extremely useful because keeping track of viral content and coming up with content ideas is a full-time job in itself. So that's where the value is at here. Essentially, you're never really going to have to go out there and look for content ideas again, because every week you're going to get an email, a content report that lists viral content in your niche, shows you and gives you new content ideas. So yeah, that's where the value is at. What we're using to build this system is Apify. So we are scraping YouTube, LinkedIn, and we actually are scraping the web as well with Perplexity. And then we're ranking the content, updating our Airtable database, or it could be Google Sheet or whatever you want to use. I just use Airtable because that's what I work with on a daily basis, but Google Sheets is completely fine here. So anything in this case, anything with more than 2,000 views from our YouTube scraper will pass through the filter, and then we will then analyze that content. So you can see here, it says, is this video actually about automation, such as make.com, n8n, business related to AI? Obviously, you would change this for whatever niche you're in or your client is in, but this is just built around this for this example. And yeah, you can come through here, read all this. Then it's basically just saying, please output the data like this. So we're giving it a virality score, a category, intent, is it in English? And then we have an if filter. So if the content is in English, if the virality is checked, and if the intent is checked, then it will pass through and get updated to our Airtable database. Now I'll show you what the output looks like in a second, but it's essentially exactly the same thing here, copy and pasted for LinkedIn. We're obviously just using a different Apify actor, and the filter is slightly different. So instead of 2,000 views, it's 250 likes. And then for Perplexity, you can see that I've just got what are the top 5 trending news stories in AI and AI automation today, provide it with the date, and then I've just asked for a brief summary of each. And then in this node, it's just formatting the message for me with the URL and the content and the headline and all that stuff. Then it all comes down here, all merges together in a merge node, and we get the report generator where we are actually generating our report in HTML, and we are sending it as an email to myself on a weekly basis. Now, I'll show you what the output looks like. So you can see here, every week I get a weekly content report newsletter, and you can see that we have tons of information in here, which is super useful for me because I don't really have to go out there and think of my own ideas. It's a shortcut really. Every week this is put on a plate for me. So you can see here, you can click on deep dive, trending on LinkedIn. We can see all of the posts, Perplexity news, and then we have actionable content ideas this week. So yeah, awesome stuff. Got everything there ready to go for me. So every week I can just come in, see, oh look, we've got these content ideas, add them to my list, make those videos, boom, sorted. Tons of time saved. Really easy workflow to set up as well. All you're going to need is an Apify account, an OpenAI account, Perplexity account, Airtable or Google Sheets or whatever you would like to use for that, and then just set up your Gmail to n8n, which is very, very simple. You just create a new credential here and you can sign in with Google. Now, if you're using like Hostinger or like self-hosted n8n, there are a few more steps to setting up your Gmail in n8n, and all you do is, it's pretty much identical to setting up like the Google Drive connection, but you just, instead of enabling Google Drive, you enable Gmail. I'll leave a link in the description to another video on how to set that up. But yeah, that's the first template. The main idea being saving time, because like I mentioned, coming up with content ideas, researching viral content is a full-time job in itself. Now you can add as many different scrapers as you want to this. All you'd have to do is just copy and paste this section here, find a different scraper on Apify, connect it up, and then grab this and drag it down there. Obviously you would want to put another input here, boom, just like that, and you've got another scraper set up. So you can make this as big as you want really, or as small as you want. But yeah, all you need to do is go on Apify, find the scraper. So if you wanted to scrape Twitter, if you wanted to scrape Facebook, you could just repeat the process, copy and paste, just change the filter, and then you're good to go. Now let's move on to the next workflow. Okay, so this is the next workflow. It's a Nano Banana Pro ad machine. I've shared this on the channel quite recently. The main idea behind being able to charge a lot of money for a system like this is time and money saved. If you're an online business, you have a Shopify store, an e-commerce brand, or you're running a lot of ads, this is going to save you tons of time and tons of money. People who charge for making ads one by one, it takes a lot of time, and you can spend up to a ridiculous amount of money just getting a couple of ads done. But this is just a very rapid fire system. You can pump out hundreds of ads at a time, saving you time and money. Now, I've shared this and the setup on the channel before, so what I'll do is I'll leave links to each separate workflows video in my description. So if you want to learn a little bit more about each workflow, head down to the description, click on the videos, and there'll be a more in-depth video on that system. But I'll show you how this works now, and then I'll just give you a brief explanation on how to set it up. So let's click on execute workflow. A form pops up. What we're going to do is we're just going to put in some data here, and we are just going to submit it. So I'll show you, I'm just using this image here, and then we'll click submit. There are a few different things that you're going to want for this system. That is an image kit account. It's free to set up. That's just where we're going to be hosting the image. A Gemini account or a Google account, so you can get your Google API key, your Drive link set up, and then just OpenRouter for the LLMs, and then that's all really. So how this works is we've got the form like you've just seen. We're hosting that reference image. We're breaking that image down with this analyze an image tool. We're then creating a folder in our Google Drive where we're going to store the new ads or the new images. We've then got a creative metadata agent, which is just labeling the data that we've got from this module here. We're then duplicating that for variants, and then we're just creating prompts, pushing it to Nana Banana via the Google API, and then uploading all of the images to our Google Drive. Now I'm going to come back when this is done and I'll show you the output. Okay, so the workflow has been completed. Let's take a little look at the outputs. So as you can see, really powerful stuff. You can create these images and ads in literally 5 minutes. It took to generate 10. Obviously, if you're going to generate 100, it would take a bit longer, but you get the idea. Cool. Now, I just wanted to say it again, like, when you're selling these systems, you don't sell the workflow. Like, a lot of people don't even understand n8n. When they look at it, they're like, yep, I don't really care. All they care about is getting to their end goal as fast as possible, and that's the whole purpose of automation and AI workflows in n8n. Never would I pitch, oh, look at this fancy workflow. I'd pitch the end result. So just keep that in mind when going through these workflows. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next one, and this is a speed to lead system. Now it looks very simple because it is, but the potential upside with a workflow like this is really incredible. I'll show you an image to explain what I mean with speed to lead. Basically what it is when someone signs a form or signs up for something on your website, being like a lead form, a work with us form, they'll get an automatic call, or in this case, your sales team or you will get a Telegram message that you can click on instantly and call the lead up straight away. Now, why this is important and why this sells for a lot of money and automation like this is because this image right here. Now, lead conversions are 391% higher if a rep reaches out within a minute of an inquiry. Now, you can see that drastically goes down after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 5 hours, and if you leave it a day without responding, the conversion rate goes down to 17% from 391% if you contact them within a minute. Now, if you can sell this to the business, then you could easily charge up to 5K or even more for a simple system like this. Now, how I've got this set up is we're using a platform called Uform. So basically, when a form is submitted, this webhook will fire, will update the lead or create a lead within Google Sheets or Airtable, similar to the other workflow that I first showed you. You can use anything here, but I've just used Google Sheets for now. Then we're adding it to go high level as well. I mean, it depends. You don't need this step, but that's what I've just got it set up here. Essentially, you could even deactivate this step and have it go straight to Telegram, which I will do in this case. Or even you could just deactivate both of them and just have it literally like that. So when a new lead signs up for your form, you'll get a message on Telegram, or you can change this to WhatsApp or email or whatever your sales team or you are more active on, and then you'll get a notification, new lead with the number. Click on that and you can call them straight away. Now, like I mentioned, I'm using Uform, so I'll show you the form that I have created. So what Uform is just basically like a duplicate of Typeform, but it's free. So you can see this form here. You can click on whatever you want. I'll just show you for the purpose of this video. Cool, so I just filled out my information. I'm gonna quickly, before I submit this, jump back to the system, grab my production URL from the webhook here, come back to Uform, click on settings. So when you go to Uform, you can just follow along the guide that they have there, or just use one of the templates that they use to set up a form, and then click on integrate. Then you can click on webhook here, and you can just paste in your webhook, click submit, and you can see we've got the webhook saved like that. So whenever the form's submitted, it will trigger this webhook here. So let me just submit that form. Go back to here, click on executions. So you can see that we've got an error because it just errored at the Telegram section, but it picked up our form submission. So let's just debug that. And you can see that we have the information that we've just put in here with my demo phone number. Then all you would need to do is just set up Telegram. Drag and drop a few things from here. So first name, email, phone number, and then just execute the step. Chat not found. Okay, that's fine. We will use this one here. Bear with me a sec while I get the chat ID. Boom. So let's check Telegram. You can see that we have a new lead there, the information that I've just put in. So if we were to do this again, come back to the form, I'll just fill in a couple of things here just to show you how it actually works in real time. Boom, and you see Telegram just pop up there. Let's see. Perfect. And then all you need to do is just click on this number here, and then you can call them pretty much as soon as you get a new lead come in. Now, I've shared a way to do this on my channel before, where you actually have AI call them straight away instead of yourself or a sales team. So someone who doesn't have a sales team, or someone who isn't around their phone all the time, I've actually set up a AI caller that does the calling for you. But I'll leave a link to that video in the description, and you can check that video out if you want to learn how to do that. But you can see how powerful this system is. Again, you're not actually selling this workflow, you're selling the outcome, which in this case is 391% more conversion rate, which not a lot of businesses are going to say no to them if you can prove that it works. So let's move on to the next workflow. Okay, so the next workflow is a personal assistant bot. Now, I personally use one of these every single day. It's really, really useful. And again, you're selling time saved, doing things like email, calendar stuff, contact stuff, scraping the web, all of that stuff. Now, these systems I've found to be quite easy to sell, just because you can show how much value they provide very, very easily. Now, I'm using Telegram for this. You can use WhatsApp or whatever, but I use Telegram the most, and that's why I've chosen that. But essentially, you have a Telegram trigger, which is your chat. You can speak to it with a voice message or a text message, and then you can tell it to draft you emails, get labels, get all your emails, reply to emails, delete emails, and send emails. Also, you can get it to get all your events in your calendar, create an event in your calendar, delete an event in your calendar, and update an event in your calendar. I've then actually got this hooked up to a Airtable database where I have all my contact information and that stuff. So when I'm actually drafting emails, I can go into a bit more detail because I've got all the information stored within an Airtable database. Now, again, I've got a video about this on my channel, so I'm not going to go crazy in depth into it because I'll leave that in the description. You can check that out if you want to below, but I'll show you how this works. So if I jump into Telegram here, and this is actually my assistant bot here. So let me just show you a few outputs that it does. So every morning it will send me stuff in my calendar, and then also a quote, a motivational quote. It will then send me any new bookings that happen in my calendar or new events that pop up in my calendar. I can then speak to it as well, so I can test it out here. Cool, so I've just said, can you list me my contacts? And it's come back with my contacts there. I'll show you the voice version as well. Can you list me my contacts? So again, all my contacts are there, and I've just got a couple in just for an example to show you. Now, again, this is really easy to set up. I've got a YouTube video on how to do that. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but what you'll need is Telegram, Gmail, connected, OpenRouter, or whatever LLM you want to use. I've also included a scrape web tool in here. So what that is doing is calling Firecrawl, and that allows me to basically just search the web through Telegram. But yeah, pretty cool. Easy to sell because you can basically show the value straight away, and you can sell this to anyone and everyone who just wants to basically make their life easier with AI. That's the main selling point with this system. So let's move on to the last system now. But yeah. Okay, so we're on to the last system now, and this one, again, really simple workflow, but provides a lot of value and can save you tons of time. It's an email inbox management tool. So this system here is pretty much the email section of the previous workflow, the personal assistant, but just this section, if that makes sense. Again, with this, you're selling time saved rather than the actual workflow. But how it works is emails come in, this gets triggered, the emails get classified into different categories and labeled. Then from there, depending on what label it's been given, draft emails get made, and then I can go in the morning or whenever I log into my email and just hit send, review the draft emails. But yeah, really powerful system. Everyone essentially wants something like this because it just saves them so much time. And yeah, you can charge up to a good amount of money for this system purely based on how much time it saves you. Now, I use this every single day. When I log into my email address, everything is automatically labeled. I don't have to sort anything. Draft responses and replies are already there, ready for me to go. Just to hit send, and that's it, pretty much. So yeah, that's been 5 workflows you can sell for up to 5K in 2026. Again, you can download all of the workflows from my free school community in the description below, and I'll also leave links to the individual videos for each of these workflows and actually how to get them set up for you in the description as well. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.